Hello you, it's me, back with more natural lighting in a new space. Today I'm going to talk about Death Masks by Jim Butcher, which is book number 5 in the Dresden series. I've actually read 2 different Dresden books in the last couple of weeks, and I really need to start doing book review rather than book review because I start forgetting what's happening in each book, and I feel like my opinions start bleeding over. I absolutely whizzed through this one though. Something about it that I can't really pinpoint made it feel for me like a much quicker read, and I got through it probably in about a day and a half, 2 days. So as you all probably know, it revolves around a wizard called Harry Dresden, who lives in Chicago, takes cases for people as a private investigator, and is sort of a sometimes consultant for the SI Special Investigations Division of the Chicago PD. To catch you up on this one, there's going to be some spoilers because I'm going to talk about stuff that happened in previous books, so if you don't want spoilers, this is not the review for you. Afterwards, I'll link to some videos from other books in the series, so watch those first before you watch this one, or just read the books first before you watch the reviews. So this really follows on from the events of book 3, with book 4 feeling almost like an interlude which was put in to let us learn a little bit more about Harry's past. Some more characters were introduced, some threats were geared up, but none of what happened in book 4, in my opinion, actually feeds in much to the events of Death Masks. Harry is a little bit less down and out self-pity wallowing though, and I think one thing that book 4 did do was help him to reassess his relationship with Susan Rodriguez. So the book picks up with Harry still in touch with Susan, who has turned up in Chicago with a man in tow who seems to know an awful lot about her condition, sort of the pre-stage to being a Red Court vampire. Harry is challenged to a duel by Ortega, who represents the Red Court, with the war between the White Council and the Reds as the stakes for the duel. He's asked by a member of the Vatican to locate the Shroud of Turin, Jesus' death mask, which is for some reason in Chicago. He's pulled in by Karen Murphy, the head of Special Investigations, to assess a corpse which seems to be infected with every known disease, all the while having to contend with the new threat of Denarians, who are hell-bent on getting the Shroud, and they're a hell of a lot stronger than Harry. As is the case with a lot of the other Dresden books, there is a running theme of, at the start of the book, here are all the storylines that are going to happen, introduced in rapid fire one after the other, and they run parallel to each other before sort of tying off together or in rapid fire at the other end of the book. The fact that all of the storylines he undertakes somehow seem to be related to each other does give it sort of more to the Sam Spade cheesy noir detective feel. And also now in the familiar Jim Butcher style, each book in the series is adding more and more characters to Jim's cast of the world. This book sees the addition of the Fellowship of St. Giles, who are a religious sect made up of half-humans that may be helping Susan manage her condition or find a cure. The other Holy Swordsmen, who are affiliated with Michael, the other 2 of the 3. The idea of a Denarian, a creature, a human or an animal possessed by the spirit of a fallen angel and very different to a demon. And a leading character bad guy among the Denarians who I feel is going to be recurring throughout the series from here on out. The so far neutral party of the Archive, who is called in to moderate the duel between Harry and Ortega, and is the living personified sum of all magical knowledge and human history. We're also given the name drop of the Jade Court, a 4th court of vampires which has been hitherto unmentioned. So yeah, this book adds a hell of a lot in the way of new characters and stuff that's going to be going on further down the line. Things that I liked and didn't like about this book, so I'll start with things that I really did like about it. The first is that while I was reading this, I had a realization of the threats are getting bigger and bigger that Harry is having to face. Almost like it's sort of anime level power creep, but Harry himself is not getting any stronger, and at the end of each sort of episode, the only thing he walks away with is more knowledge to add to his repertoire and more pins to sort of put in his crazy man pin board. He's nerfed for some fights, which I think is fair. It makes some of the fights more interesting, but I do hope that this continues and that he doesn't have something happen to him which makes him some kind of overpowered god, because for me that's when things start to get a little bit boring. I was initially worried about the concept of angels being introduced to the Dresden universe, because I feel that with a lot of supernatural stuff, the main characters, the good guys, fight their way up the chain of bad guys who get stronger and stronger and stronger, and then you get right to the top and you have angels, elder gods, and that's the top bracket. And where do you go after that? I feel like everything that introduces angels has this in common. When you add angels, it gets boring. Saying that though, I have every bit of faith that Jim Butcher is going to try his best and do a good job and not overdo it and make it humans v angels, wizards v angels. I like that the fallen angels are nerfed. They're sort of in the form of these coins, and they can't take physical shape in this reality without a host. I like that they're passed with the coin from host to host, almost like some kind of infectious disease, making it seem like the human mindscape is the only place where they can actually have any kind of physical presence at all. There's a lot of species and threats being constantly added to the mix, but Jim Butcher has so many rules and regulations going on in this series, multiple parallel storylines going on, that it doesn't feel overwhelming and it doesn't feel like it's getting silly. He's adding more and more and more, but somehow it doesn't feel like it's spiraling out of control, which is fantastic. Speaking about fallen angels and demons as well, one of my pet hates when writing angels and demons is just making them human-shaped. And one thing that Jim Butcher has done is he's making them these crazy monster-twisted creatures that look like something out of a Hieronymus Bosch painting. It makes them so much more otherworldly, as they should be, and the effort in that is definitely appreciated by me. I think in each of the Dresden Files books, different readers are going to have different "oh damn" moments, and for me, it was this. When he sent Bob, the skull, the air spirit, out for recon, and he comes back torn to pieces, limping basically, and he's like, Marcone has wards. Marcone is entering the ring as a magic user, a magic wielder, and I love the fact that he's not an outright enemy of Harry's, he's more a complication. And I'm so curious to see what Marcone is going to bring to the table in the future in terms of the magic ring, whether he's going to be sort of approached by the White Council for misuse of his magic, whether he's going to find loopholes in ways that Harry didn't. I like that Susan still isn't fixed. I like that that's running on the back burner there. I like that they haven't really spun it as I've got a cool vampire girlfriend and she's sort of become a sidekick. I would have been really sad if that had happened. She's very aware that she cannot spend much time around Dresden because she will lose control of herself. So like a smart person, which she very clearly is, she has removed herself from the situation. I like that it isn't religious good versus irreligious or other religious evil. I like that the religion is being kept as an influencing force on both sides rather than a defining force. I like the variety among the three swordsmen. I like that one is a devout Christian, one is a guy who got baptized pretty much by accident and is just trying to do good by a new religion and stay true to his word. And the third one is a communist who has literally been handed a sword by the Archangel Michael and still considers himself an agnostic. And his variety of good is just doing the best he can to help other people at all times. I think that's really cool. So there's a lot to like. I really enjoyed this one. There are a few things I didn't like. I didn't really like Nicodemus. He was a really cheesy seeming villain that I feel like could have been made a lot more threatening and intimidating. I feel like they tried to. I feel like Jim Butcher tried to, but it didn't really come across as Nicodemus is dangerous. I feel like he felt like he belonged in Supernatural or Charmed or Buffy or something like that. I think the plot for this book was not as intriguing as the plots in previous books, and I wasn't really super invested in what was going on. I read it quick, I enjoyed it, but there was no like, oh yeah, super cool moments in it. It felt to me like this book was a device to add more characters who were going to be important down the line. The sex scene in this book was really cringy. The idea of Susan's two hungers being one and the same, I feel like you've done a really good job up to now, Jim Butcher. Like, please don't spoil it in the future. It's not a teen vampire romance. So I'm going to give this book 3 out of 5 stars. It didn't grab me the way the others before it have. With the exception of 2, I think it's better than number 2. But still pretty good. Not amazing, but a solid entry. I did enjoy it. Can't wait to read the next one because I hear it's quite divisive. So I'm excited to see what I think of that. So thanks very much for watching. I hope the lighting's a bit better in this brand new space I have. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like and subscribe. There are more book reviews coming all the time. I'm going to be filming a few today to upload over the course of the next week or 2. We'll see how that goes. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.